I think a lot of people probably forget that perfume bottles, they used to look really cool. It used to be an art form to this craft, a bottle of perfume, because, you could sell colored liquid in any container really, but to amp up the sales, you should, have some fine craftsmanship. And many decades in the past, that was definitely the case. A lot of perfume bottles were very elaborately crafted, cut from crystal, fine crystal, and, made to look as good and decadent as possible. Today, a lot of brands don't care so much for the presentation of the bottle. I mean, some do have a bit of style, but most of them, I would argue, are pretty plain. But there are some perfume bottles that I have to discuss because, they're unique in either their history or how they look or, something along those lines. One of them that I honorable mention as one of my favorites. This is a sample. This is not the true size of the bottle. This is L'air du Temps by Nina Ricci, and it's hard to see because it's so small. It's this very delicately fluted bottle with this nice curved shape. The cap is two doves, and this is the exact same design as the full-size bottle. The full-size bottle is the size of an apple, and what I like about this design is that it was very prominent after the war, World War II. It came out in 1948, and they designed this bottle specifically because it was the doves to symbolize, this freedom, the war is over, there's peace now, that sort of thing. I think the regular size bottle only has one dove, this has two, but I like how, the bottle it has a story, I like the ribbing actually, more than anything on the bottle. I haven't seen the large bottle in person, but I imagine the light filtering through this ribbed glass, would create a really nice effect of it refracting and reflecting on itself. And overall, I just like the design. I think it's a very unique design. It's rooted back to a previous time, It was very popular when it came out in the late 40s, and that's, I just like the kind of story behind it. Another one that I quite like is more recognizable, I would argue. Red Door by Elizabeth Arden here. So this is a pretty simple design, just a rectangle really, colored red, but this also has a story behind it. It is modeled after the door of the Elizabeth Arden spa or store on Fifth Avenue in New York, and that store, which was obviously known for its red door, which looks exactly like this actually, it came out in 1910, so very, very old, and the store stayed there for about 80 years. I don't think it's in the same spot anymore. I think it moved somewhere. But when the Elizabeth Arden brand first came out, everyone knew the brand based on the red door alone. It became, a symbol because obviously there's not a lot of buildings with red doors. So besides that, the bottle itself is a very, very pretty shade of red. It's hard to see, but it reflects the light very, very well. When you look through it at the light, it's this very, very rich kind of wine red, or blood red, I suppose, sort of, shade. Very sturdy bottle. I don't think it would crack if you threw it against the wall. You could probably use it as a weapon. And, simple design, but sleek, instantly recognizable. I mean, as I could pull it up. You already know what it is before I say what it is. So, simple design, but it's nice. It has a story. So that's what I like about it. And let's see, the next one. So this one is kind of a double trouble sort of thing, I suppose. This is a Youth Dew by Estee Lauder. So this also has ribbed glass, or fluted, whatever you call it. You can, I suppose, ignore this. It's not part of the bottle, really. The cap is simple, and the top here is also simple. And this is not the original bottle of Youth Dew. This is a modern recrafting, I suppose. But I do like this bottle, along with the original bottle. I might like the original bottle a bit better, but it's hard to say. The original bottle was light blue, this kind of curved bottle, and it said Youth Dew on the front. But both of them I like because they're kind of a prominent symbol of the 50s, 1950s. And the original bottle was actually opaque, you couldn't see light through it. The benefit of this modern one is that you can see the color of the liquid, and when the light filters through it, it is very pretty. It gives this kind of bronze glow, you know, very metallic. Some people say it looks like Coca-Cola. I disagree. Coca-Cola is much darker. But this is definitely, maybe the color of whiskey. That's more like it. And, you know, very nice amber hue, and, you know, the shape of the bottle is very feminine. You know, it has that curve, which does emulate the original bottle design, which also had a curve. Overall, this is the modern take on the bottle is probably more attractive, but the original does have that old style charm, which is hard to find these days. And the next one here, the fourth one. Careful with this one, because this bottle is 40 years old, and I don't want to drop it. But this is Joy by Jean Patou. So most of Jean Patou's perfumes come in this bottle, this shape. And again, this is another very simple shape, but it's the details, I think, that make it unique. And you can see it's not a simple square or rectangular shape. It has these very, you know, adeptly cut edges. And even though, you know, it's not the most extravagant bottle in the world, it does have a certain elegance. It has this, I don't know, it reminds me of a gem. Like I've just found a giant gem of topaz or something. And that, and actually, very nice cap. Much more reflective than most caps that you would find on, you know, most other bottles. But overall, I mean, it highlights the color of the liquid, this kind of golden hue. And I like those sharp edges. It came out in 1930, which was when the Art Deco style was popular. And the Art Deco style was mainly characterized by geometrical shapes, patterns, that sort of thing. And I would definitely say that this has retained its Art Deco look, or at least a look. You know, sharp edges, minimalist design, but still very striking. So that's what I have to say about that. Now the last one, I don't actually have the real bottle. I just have a picture of the bottle of Shalimar by Guerlain. And Shalimar's bottle is by far one of the most impressive. Especially its early designs, because back originally, many decades ago, when it came out in the 20s, it was crafted from baccarat crystal, which is a type of very fine French crystal, and especially the top, this blue top, was 100% baccarat crystal, cut very, very finely, crafted into a very special shape. It was meant to be designed in the shape of an urn, because the story is Shalimar was inspired off of the tragic love story behind the building of the Taj Mahal. I suppose the emperor's wife died, and he was so distraught that he built the Taj Mahal. And Shalimar was inspired off of that story, and the shape is kind of like the urn of this dead empress. So I don't know if the bottle is still made of Baccarat crystal anymore, or at least the top. I don't know if they still do that anymore. Some brands decide this is too expensive, no one will know the difference, we'll just cut it out. So I don't really know. But the bottle still looks the same, it still looks like this. So even if it isn't Baccarat crystal, it still is a very unique craftsmanship. It has a story behind it. Another instantly recognizable bottle. As soon as you see it, it's Shalimar. And it doesn't have it on this picture. It has a small ribbon here, but I think some bottles have this kind of flare, this kind of feathery flare of, tied to the top of the bottle, and that kind of gives it a more exotic, kind of more luxurious look. So, anyway, those are the main perfume bottles that I really like and enjoy, and I think they're, nicely crafted, or at least have a good idea behind them. So, if you have any perfume bottles that you like, you can mention them down in the comments below. If you like the video, leave a like, maybe subscribe, and I make videos throughout the week, so stick around for those.